Hello, I'm Chris Thanis. I'm a KMP developer. Tech Sports coming out Tuesday. They said they promised. They said they promised. Um, so I'm going to continue on with adventure-driven development. Kind of explained where I came from a little bit. The company I worked at a couple of these little companies. One of the ones that was more influential to me was not only Silicon Beach, but eventually Silicon Beach got acquired, and the people that acquired it totally killed that whole vibe and destroyed the whole culture, and it was out of business within a couple of years after that, maybe a year after that happened, or consolidated, whatever. And by that time, I was off on living. I was living in San Francisco, working at this company called Chaos Tools, spelled with an X, XAOS Tools, and they had this vibe. They had this. They had this. We're going after something strange and weird, and we don't know what it is, and we're going to figure it out along the way. And they were one of the first VC funded places I ever worked at, and were on like a higher speed. And they hired me to do create plugins, graphic image processing, artistic software plugins for graphic designers. So and for yeah, mostly for graphic designers. This place was kind of famous for a movie called Lawnmower Man. People that worked there, and a bunch of other commercials and stuff. A Grateful Dead thing. Anyway, it was a very interesting place to work. And while the VCs were funding it actively, it was actually pretty fun. At this place, they left us alone. They picked people they trusted and were like impressed with already, and they kind of left us to be. So we kind of just like we were left to our own devices. So we kind of had to come up with a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about in here. So the big idea is to make it fun and get it done. So these companies kind of had this vibe already because it was kind of part of the computer industry at that time. And this is in the 90s now, early 90s. And it was just kind of like, what are these things can we do with these things? And the artistic stuff had just exploded with like Photoshop had just become like more of a mainstream thing, and this plugin thing was kind of a thing. Kai's Powers tools kind of made this genre kind of popular, and people were just like, "Oh my god, what is this thing?" So it was that kind of place and that kind of people, and eventually they had some financial issues and it changed, and that was time to go on. And that's the other thing about this is like it seems like this style of development is only for like earlier stage stuff. I think it would be cool to try to attempt to use it on a legacy project, but the people involved with doing one of these dungeon grinds down here, or one of these tar pits possibly, or these lava lakes. If you're involved with these projects, I don't know, man. It's going to be hard to like convince people to think along these ways because, but a new project, something new you're trying to come up with, some area you're trying to get into. This is totally the way it's done. This is like trade secret stuff, because you do have to pick people that have this mindset, and you have to pick high level people because A people only want to play with A people. So this is a way to attract A people, but it's management has to completely let go of some stuff. They have to see like just a visionary entrepreneur you have to see some sort of market deficiency somewhere, something that's not going so great, and then you have to find somebody else that's like been down these tunnels a little bit enough to know, okay, maybe we can try something new, and like knows because most of the programmers, when we start get programming, we're doing this adventure style. We don't know what's out there. We're trying something new. We're down here at the tutorial personal project level. And we have this mindset like, what does this do? How does this work? Can we make it go this way? Can we make it go that way? Can we do this? Can we do that? So it's like that's what gets us into it. And it's because it's fun, but then these things kill it, right? These take fake agile doom and these tar pits, they totally take that vibe completely out and take the air out of the room completely. Because I've worked in all these. I've done all these. Well, I haven't done a dev agency. I've kind of tasted it, but woo, man. Okay, so this, but I have done this one. I've done this one. I had an exit. I had a software company called DigiFX doing digital video special effects software. And I went for it, and it was great. And I was able to take a bunch of time off and think about other things. So that's the other part of this thing too. Is like How much are you willing to risk? How much do you want to be creative with this stuff? Like, how much do you want to see your kind of vision happen? And how can you get there realistically, right? And people fund you and that kind of stuff. So it's for the intrepid, heroic developers who want to decide forging an unsafe, perilous, and untrodden path to possibly epic glory, fame, and fortune, right? That's the possible. But there's a lot of failure along the way. There's no guarantee. That's the other thing. Part of this is like people want to, oh my God, I want to do a guarantee. It's like, well, the only guarantee is you can try to keep making the customer happy, right? You can try and find a way to make the customer happy. That's how you can keep going. Now, if you run out of money, okay, maybe you can start it up, try it again later, or maybe it was just a bad idea and you were down here in a lava lake or a tar pit and you didn't know it, right? And a lot of times that happens, but a lot of these problems that people actually get into these niches up here, like one or two people, or less than seven or less, can do, is pretty amazing. But you have to let go of trying to be a boss guy to everyone around you. Like, it might be some weird little niche that doesn't really, not very sexy. Like, this is problem solving. This is solving problems, right? This is solving problems that are profitably, at a level that you can profit from. That's what we're talking about here. So, but failure is always around the way. Risk, we're always at risk. It may be possible one day, far flung in the future, that we may captivate management, Jira box tickers, who require constant and repetitive reassurance. Oh, everything's going to be, the project's on track. Look at the Jira, it's burning down. It's like that whole concept. When I first heard the burning down chart, I was like, what? No. You're pointing things and not assigning them to people. People can't win those points. You're actually playing poker, but there's no points you can win. You're always burning them down. No, that's bad. That's a bad idea. The conceptual is like, what are you guys doing? You've been missing a major opportunity, which I'm going to get into. Along with guarantees of accurate time estimates. Oh, they got to have that. Is your estimate on time? Are you on time? Are your estimates accurate and accurate? Estimates are done. That's immediate tech debt. If you ever watch a tech debt video, click on the link, watch the video. You'll understand. Estimates are immediate tech debt, completely silly. And somebody needs some psychiatric help thinking that we could see into the future. Are you crazy? We could barely compute. Like, these computers are so crazy. No, we can't see in the future. What are you doing? No, this is not a manufacturing process that we've done 1,000 times, have the tolerance of the time down to 2 or 3 decimal places. No, it's not that. We're trying to make. What are we trying to make with the factory that will get down to the tolerances? Like, that's the thing we were doing. What do we do to make it that we can get in the middle of this somehow and get our customer to do the customer needs better than the other guy? That's what we're trying to talk. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to take out somebody else's jobs. So we're just taking some of that. So just be real. This is war, dude. This is like person to person, one-on-one war. We're taking somebody else's jobs, and they are going to hold on tight. Look at that dragon. He's like, you're not taking it from me. No. Someone else has already got that. You're going to have to fight me for it. Like, you son of a bitch. All right. Which is right. We are going to have to fight, but we're not going to fight them in a mean way. We're going to fight them as like, how can we serve you better in some way? Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. I know it sounds ugly, but maybe if it does sound ugly, that's probably not for you. This is probably not the approach you probably want to go back to the Agile or Scrum stuff. So there it is. Go do that. It's all guaranteed, right? And perhaps to begin one day to understand that the ADD methodology, or I'm going to say AD, is necessary for creative knowledge workers to produce their best possible work. If you want the best possible work out of creative workers, you can't whip them, man. Sorry, I'm just sorry. A players are going to put up being whipped. Okay, we're going to go someplace else and not be whipped. Or if you get rid of us, we'll just start up another competitor, and you won't even know. It'll just all of a sudden nobody's coming to your thing anymore. No one's at your website anymore because you pissed off too many people. Okay, a final word of caution: if these elite guild secret methods, which I'm discussing in this video, most managers are not going to click on this adventure driven. Are you insane? The board of directors would never have it. It's so funny. If these elite guild secret methods are exposed and fall into the wrong hands, expect to have to explain many uncomfortable components of AD that will likely not be received well, opening yourself up to unreasonable retribution and unfair penalties. Continue at your own peril, intrepid hero. Like, okay, this is my first draft. I'm kind of going through it. I want to get feedback. So this is kind of where I'm coming from, and this is kind of outline format. So I'm just trying to flesh out some of these ideas. So this is the treasure that awaits for the people that are willing to cross over the path. So risk. This guy's going up this thing, getting stuff thrown at him, stuff poured on him, totally getting arrows whacked at him. They're up with these ladders. This guy's failed, obviously. Risk is clearly visible in ADD. In ADD, risk is clearly visible and recognized as an integral to the epic challenge that our adventurers face. Okay, courage is acknowledged and honored. Like, so we have something called experience points, which I'll be getting into. But that just shows our score. Yes, it's relative to only to that project, only to that campaign, only to that team. But it is a number, and it is part of the quest, and it does have meaning to the team, only to the team. And it's not going to be it's not going to be a Fibonacci sequence. It's going to be how difficult this part of the quest is that how difficult we think it is, and you will be rewarded those points. Those will not be burned up on a chart. They will be rewarded to you, and they will have no meaning outside the team. They have no meaning in time. It's just what you get that you can put like your Stack Overflow number. That's your clout. That's your level of clout on that team, on that project, on that campaign. Okay? That's what we're talking about here. Okay, so courage is knowledge. Mistakes are accepted as part of the quest. We're gonna screw up. Now you don't get. We made partially. I mean, maybe there's a way to do partial experience points. Maybe it's like you're part of the task. Like we may have to hit this 20 times, and you'll get 15 points for every time you try it or something like that. If you want to keep it down that track, right now I've got it set up so you only awarded the experience points if you complete the task. Okay. Now, if a task is too hard to do, you can probably break it up, and the experience points are split. All right, or do subtasks and split them up that way. Okay. Those are implementation details that you can all work out. And I hope you see some of the tools that were inside GitHub and GitLab that are just do all the product management, all the PR requests, all the documentation. You can do mermaid diagrams. Everything's on there. It should be all done in text. Everything's on one place. All the communication, everything's in one spot. All the project management, no Jira tools. Screw that. You don't need that stuff. It's a simple task list. No time estimates. We have no idea how long it's going to take. Now, this quest will have a definite period, right? You can give your manager, we can do this for 6 months. And at the end of the 6 months, if you hate it and we're not done yet or not even clear it, you're going to cancel it because that's actually what happens anyway. You might say, this is a 2-year project. No, it's not. This is a 3-month project if it don't go right. This is a 2-month project if it don't go right. If you're not working out, this thing's not working out. This is for the A and B+ players. You can bring in some merchants, some mercenaries, to fix up some tasks along the way. But this is for people that are kind of are dedicated to the quest because they believe in it for whatever reason, for whatever the reason is. From dealing with all this stuff and they want to try something else. It's adventurous. Come on, it's super fun to work this way. Okay, but yet physical recklessness with your heroic party is strongly discouraged. Okay, what do I mean by that? It means that you cannot burn these people out. Okay, these adventurers, you want to take care of them very well. And I'm going to get into that. Just because we have this heroic thing around it doesn't mean we're going to burn people out. Doesn't mean you go 80, 90-hour work weeks. No. We don't do that. Now, sometimes the adventurer may, on his own recognizance, choose to do that. But we discourage that because it gets to burnout. And people, when they burn out, they quit. And then that fucks up the whole quest. I'm going to swear. I'm sorry. But look, if you're not willing, okay, you have to be good to your people, okay? So these places where they kind of adhere to our schedule, which is a lot of times later in the day. That doesn't mean we did. Man, I love working at these places. It was so much fun. But they weren't time tracking me. They knew. Because we're working together. It was we were all into it. So anyway, so no hardcore physical shit. coming down from top down. Absolutely not. No. Now, and it should be discouraged. Like, hey, can you make sure you get your rest? Make sure you get hydrated. And if somebody has some sort of calm pager thing and they wake up in the middle of the night, they get double credits for that shit. Like, come on now. All right, so they say, okay, so just because we're thinking these heroic adventure terms, it must be fully recognized that creative knowledge work, this what I call it, creative development, this stuff is it really can only happen when people are fully rested, well rested, and given time to think and try things without expecting quick success. Okay, some of these things take time to figure out. Now, you can set a time period on this. It's like, well, we're only going to let you figure it out for a while. So we got to see some results. And there's ways to produce results. When people know that they only have a certain amount of time, it's like, okay, like so one of the things in Chaos Tools, like when they started running out of money, they always have these like town team meetings, like all hands, whatever. They didn't call it that. They called it something else, like everyone in the meeting room thing, which is like, I think 30 people tops, 25 maybe. And they would say, okay, what's our runway? That was the first time I heard this word runway. I'm like, runway. Because at the Silicon Beach, they didn't even never let us know that stuff. But this company, they did, and they actually made also the salaries of everybody public, which is, I don't recommend doing that, but they did. And it was San Francisco. It was a complete artists. It was great. But so they would say, what's our runway? It's like, oh, what do you mean runway? It's like, how much money do we have left before we have to start firing people? Like, I was like, what? What are you talking about? You don't have enough money. It's like, oh, we have 6 weeks left, but we're going to do round X and second. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I was completely clueless to all that stuff. But I learned pretty quick because I wasn't working there after a while. Just because we think in these showcases, adventurers are using their best educated guesses. These are good. These are people you picked. Somehow you found these people who are going to do their best, right? Educated guesses to identifying risks and not blindly hacking and slashing. We're not going to try and build as quickly as possible. We're going to talk to people and build one, throw it away. Maybe they'll build another one and throw it away. We'll get the MVP, but we're not going to ship the MVP. Like, we're not shipping MVPs. This is our experimentation. We get traction. Okay, we got to go and build another one. But, that's better than trying to extend the MVP. Stop doing that. That's a bad idea. All right. So, although there may be necessary at times, there's times when you got to just hack and slash. I get it. But it's just like that should not be the normal method, normal route. Just try to get power through it. It's like, no. So meaning absolutely no physical heroic efforts that lead to burnout. This is key. And if managers are watching or reading this, please take notice. Like, you can't burn your people out and expect this to work. This is not going to work. So, okay. So here's the other thing. Purpose. The epic and worthy quest. And this kind of represents. It's like sometimes people get lit up in their brains, and so there's something that makes you can actually pass that along. You can pass that passion or something along. You can pass that to somebody else, and if they're in that thing where they can possibly get it done after they've been up a few of these damn things, maybe they're interested in going for something, something for themselves, like the worthy epic goal. That's it. To get the most adventurous people to take on these arduous, epic tasks, there should be worthy tasks. Worthy tasks. The goal must be both worthy and epic in the minds of the adventurers, right? So the minds of these people, whatever this thing you're going after, it has to be worth it. More than what you're putting into it, kind of thing. Because all these places, they brought their A game, man. They're trying to make this stuff works of art. And it was fun. But the thing you really find out is you can't rush these things, man. If you want to get people to really do their high quality, that's the other people around. They're kind of in that same vibration and are going for it themselves. So they're all trying to kind of impress each other a little bit, but not in a cooperative sense. Like, that was the thing that was really fun about this stuff. People did challenge each other, but it was to make the stuff better. And it was kind of like the undercurrent all the times. Like, the kind of thing was like, if we can make this thing awesome, we can really make this work. And that's kind of where their heads are at, which is kind of rare because a lot of people, they've never experienced that. So they have no idea what that's like. So to ask for the sacrifice of all other things, that this stuff does take it out on people. And when you're adventuring, it's very difficult to do the work-life balance stuff. So this is kind of for people that want to take a period of their time and go after something big, right? And there's phases in people's life when they got to do a dungeon grind. Their lifestyle just, you can't do it right now. Sorry. So but there are periods of time when there are moments where I can do this. I can go do this. And you are willing to sacrifice all the other things, right, to make this happen, because that's what it takes to call. You cannot be doing a side gig and freaking go after this dragon. No. All right. So it's imperative to include adventurers that see the worthy and epic quest and goal, and willing to endure the calamities that befall such endeavors. I love that turn of phrase. Yeah, because this thing's a mess. This dragon is fierce, and it will hit you where you don't even think it's possible to be hit, and it'll mess you up, and it's tiring, and you gotta be into it, man. Then you have to like with a team that recognizes that this is what we're up against, and like this is what we're dealing with, and like has this mindset. It makes it possible to achieve victory over this bastard, which is all the little things that humans want when they want something, and all the ways that they want it, to part them from their money. Who will get them to subscribe, right? To get them to plunk their hard-earned cash down. Yeah, it's gonna have to be. You're gonna have to have some good magic and some parry, and you have to find some chinks in this thing's armor to give it what it wants, the way it wants it, right? Hard. and as this is another elite secret, as this is another elite guild secret barrier to entry. This is the entry. You have to have this thing where you're like, oh shit, this is going to be awesome. Anyone who isn't aligned with the adventure will need to be excluded, except temporary mercenaries. If you just need a temporary mercenary to come in but be dangerous, the mercenaries can cause problems. If you're just doing a team of mercenaries, you're not going to be able to keep it together. They're just going to steal all the gold somehow, in one way or another, because that's what mercenaries do, right? So you got to be really contained. They have to be on the adventuring team, or mercenaries. Be careful with the mercenaries. They can take stuff too, right? They know people. How does one test for such things? Right? There's no room for adventurers who are just looking to coast and collect paycheck and punch via punching gear tickets and time clocks. This is right here. You got the tons of fake agile and the dungeon grind. Those people are better suited over here in the dungeon grind. Come on. And because it is better. If you want work-life balance, do a dungeon grind. If you want that, go do a tunnel fake agile Doom plays. And don't complain. I don't like this thing. I don't get any control. Yeah, go over there. Okay, so when those kinds of people are identified, right, when they're just punching tickets, they're just there for a check, they should be verified as not compatible. You're going to have to figure out how to do that. And with adventure-driven development, and somehow excluded from the team. Either somehow they can't be part of the, if they're not understanding where they're talking, this thing's coming from, this idea of like how we work and see things, you gotta be excluded. Sorry. How this happens outside the scope of this document, should be aware that from the start there's always going to be a major issue with ADD. So people are going to look at this and go, this is stupid. This is dumb. I don't like it. It's stupid. And that's always what they say. I just want to go back and I want to do it like the way we were doing it. Okay. I get it. The formatting here. Okay, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. The ADD method is never a guarantee of success and definitely won't get the project done any faster or cheaper. That said, you will get the product market fit sooner if it's possible to get there at all, right? This is how it's actually usually done. People don't talk about this trade secret level stuff, right? It's also capable and mindset and having to deal with all the bullshit that has to happen to make this stuff work. Especially with the technology it's been recently, is like, oh, no wonder. So the big benefit is that you'll get better team dynamics, increased cohesion between team members and your customer, right? And we're like, what's trying to give them what they want, hard, right? Better final product, and as well as increased developer satisfaction and reduced burnout. So that's the whole point is so your key people don't want to leave. They want to keep doing this stuff and keep going after these things. But it's not a top down thing, man. There's not gonna be a scrum master saying which way to go. There's gonna be somebody tickets. Yes, we'll get into all that stuff about the tasks and how to set this up, which is very loose. It's not gonna be. It's more about the mindset and more about not being top down. Programming is a boring, dirty job. Due to the inherent nature of knowledge work, parts of it can feel like trudging a slog through a barren land. Otherwise known as a dirty job. We acknowledge this as a necessary part of venturing and is honored and expressed in experience points, which I'll get into. Probably the next video. Due to the inherent nature, okay, so for management, the one positive for using this method is that it's recommended to have an exact time limit for the quest, for the epic quest. You can set milestones that are time-based and cancel projects if there's no progress. And choose to continue forward if progress is looking promising. There's no guarantees in adventure. This takes courage. That means that, so the trade-off here is that, and this is actually kind of how Agile was supposed to work, is that you have a time period, maybe 2 months or a month, or 6 weeks, 3 months. And during that 3-month period, you have to demonstrate that you're making progress on this stuff and doing something well. And at the end of that 3-month period, this is the manager's choice, right? This is the thing they're giving up. Is like, if they haven't got the people that they think that they need, the project's over. The quest ends. So there's the power. Because the management has the ultimate power on this. Because they're paying for it, right? Unless you guys are paying for it, then you can just keep going as much as you can until you guys run out, right? Or hit it, whatever it is. That's really how it works anyway. So when you put that right up front like that, and you know what your runway is, and that's it. After this, it's over, and there's no more extending. It's like, you better have something good to show, something reasonable that we can see that you're getting traction somehow on your plan, whatever it is, in the time allotted, or you go back to the dungeon grind, the Jira burn down, go back to the tar pits, assuming you go back to the tunnels of fake Agile Doom until you can go climb up here a little bit on the parts of this mountain, other parts of this mountain over here, and see if you can find another cave entrance to another dragon that you can possibly attack. I mean, what else are you supposed to do? Or you give up. A lot of people give up because they don't know that there's possible beyond the Silver Horde David Agency, beyond the tar pits of seemingly good ideas, beyond the lava lakes of direct competition, beyond those things, they're all over the place. But they're not going to be poking their heads out saying, "Here I am." You have to go look for them. Oof. Oof. Okay, so each adventure must have a clear sense of daring and willingness to endure intellectual ego hardship, right? Because most of the ideas we're going to have about how to do this stuff is wrong, right? And we have to be okay with that. And it's ego for the worthy goal of the epic quest. Okay, so that's end of this part, and I will continue on with some more characteristics of ADD. I hope you're getting the vibe of it. Hope you're getting like the style going on that we're talking about. And give me a like and subscribe, and talk to you soon.